rendition in terms of the words. I guess he wasn't used to that song. This year, I formed a group of faculty, staff, and students called the Speakers Committee and asked them to come up with concepts for each of the 3 major annual convocations which culminate in commencement. Overwhelmingly, this group and the senior class confirmed that Illinois Wesleyan alumni have been and will be, in their opinion, our very best choices to speak to our graduating seniors. We are proud of our alumni, and we believe that they are best suited to give the most meaningful speeches to our graduating students. In its rationale, the Speakers Committee noted that our own alumni know IWU and know how to reach directly into the hearts and minds of our graduates. They added that choices of alumni should seek out those who, in those words you'll hear often today of President Myers, have not only done well, but also done good. Our speaker today, Carlina Tapia-Ruano of the class of 1977, was the first recommendation of the Speakers Committee because we believe that she admirably fulfills President Myers' injunction. A native of Cuba, Ms. Tapia-Ruano gratefully embraced the opportunity of an IWU education and put not only her liberal arts learning but also the values inculcated here to excellent use in her practice of immigration law, where she strives to help others to realize their dreams in this land of opportunity. We did not know when we selected Ms. Tapia-Ruano that her son, Tristan Gunn, is among our graduates today. She speaks then not only as a distinguished alum but also as a proud parent. I ask that Carlina Tapia-Ruano please step forward.
Carlina Tapia-Ruano, alumna of Illinois Wesleyan and DePaul University School of Law. An immigrant from your native Cuba, you have used your education to assist hundreds of others who have come to these United States. You have been personally committed to the development and defense of fair immigration laws and policies throughout nearly a quarter-century of legal practice. With tremendous pride in your accomplishments and leadership, we salute you for your dedication to your life's work.
By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Illinois Wesleyan University, I thereby confer upon you, Carlina Tapia-Ruano, class of 1977, the degree Doctor of Laws, honoris causa. Okay, that was a comment from above about the justness of this. Okay. You got it? Okay.
President McNew, trustees, faculty, staff, family, friends, and soon-to-be fellow alumni. Good afternoon. I was going to say on this bright and beautiful day, but good afternoon anyway. I am grateful to Illinois Wesleyan University for presenting me with this honorary degree. I am also deeply honored to be invited to address the graduating class of 2004. To be given the opportunity to speak to you on this momentous occasion is a privilege enough. But to have been given the chance to speak to you and hopefully to encourage you, and on the very same stage where my own son will receive his degree, is nothing less than magical. Thank you. In the last few weeks, I have frequently asked myself, how did someone like me get lucky enough to address you on your commencement at my alma mater? How did this little Cuban girl who arrived on U.S. shores as a refugee with parents who were penniless and did not speak one word of English get to this stage today? The answer to that was best said by Mark Twain. There is no security in life. There is only opportunity. I learned that lesson in life early on. When I was a young child, my family fled Cuba and came to America, specifically Central America. For several months, we were housed in a refugee camp in Costa Rica. Later, my family moved to Miami, and eventually we relocated to Michigan, where my family lived in the basement of a home of a family church member. I'll just wait for a signal from you. I ended up growing up in Holland, Michigan, where nearly everyone I met was a Dutch descendant. In a sea of blonde and blue-eyed children, my sister and I were the only dark-haired little girls who were struggling with a new language, a new culture, and even a new climate. My parents were classic immigrant parents, prepared to sacrifice everything to give their children the best possible education and a new life. In time, both of my parents became Methodist ministers, and so Illinois Wesleyan University was the perfect school for their youngest daughter. I remember arriving as a freshman in 1973, and I went to stay at Gullah Hall. Trust me, folks, that place looked the same then as it looks now. I have many fond memories of my first month at Wesleyan, not the least of which is where I met my husband, Jeff. Here I was, in the middle of the U.S., in the middle of Illinois. My Cuban heritage seemed very distant to me then. I had more of a desire to fit in than to be different. After knowing Jeff for a few weeks, I tried to warn him that I was Hispanic by telling him that I was fluent in Spanish. I guess he didn't get it because he answered by saying, "Yeah? Well, I took French in high school." The real test came when my parents arrived for a visit at Illinois Wesleyan during faculty open house. I realized I hadn't properly prepared him for the sight of two middle-aged, overly enthusiastic, boisterous, extroverted Caribbean ministers. On the day of my parents' visit, Jeff and I were walking on the quad, and I spotted my parents. As they walked toward us, I could see my father. Full head of jet black hair combed straight back from the forehead, wearing his guayabera shirt, his white pants, white shoes, and white belt in October, no less. My mother, she also had dark, big hair, wearing large sunglasses, very colorful flowered shirt, red lipstick, with a huge smile. As she approached us, she turned to me and she said, "Hola, hija, ¿cómo estás? ¿Y quién es este muchacho, tu amigo?" Then she slowly turned to Jeff and in her thick Spanish accent said, "Aló, Jeff." Jeff was speechless, but he finally turned to me and said, "My God, your parents are foreigners." Of course, so was I, although I had tried to forget that fact. Over time, I learned to celebrate my Hispanic heritage and not hide it. In fact, it was here at Illinois Wesleyan where I realized that I should be true to that unique aspect of my own identity. But I had an important mentor, someone who believed in me at a time of great doubt and uncertainty. I'm delighted to tell you he's still here today. That's Professor Michael Young. I had many classes with Dr. Young where he would entertain lively student discussions. At times, I suspect like you, I would offer outrageous ideas in class. I think I did this not only to test my own ideas, but also with a desire to express my own individuality. And he encouraged it. Dr. Young took a keen interest in me as a student, and I received the kind of attention from him that I could have only received by attending an institution like this. I'm especially grateful for his support of my desire to attend law school at a time when there were many others who said I would not make it. He served as a compass, and he guided me. He did not dismiss my dreams and aspirations because I was Hispanic. He not only accepted the fact that I was a little different, he celebrated it. Through his advice and his confidence in my success, I did go to law school, and I have gone on to embrace my immigrant heritage by becoming an immigration lawyer. I have been an immigration lawyer for over 20 years. I have taught immigration law to law students in law school for over 10 years. Little did I realize in those times of doubts about my own future that my own immigration experience would be so important in my own career choice. Many of my clients come from places that I have never visited, from cultures that are very different from my own. I knew I wanted to be a lawyer, but little did I know that I would spend my life helping and representing people from all over the world. It's strange, but working for foreigners who want to be American makes me feel more American. I have had the opportunity to represent people who come to this country for very much the same reasons my own parents did. They bring a common theme to our country, a deep appreciation for our great freedoms. One famous immigrant, Albert Einstein, said, "Everything that is really great and inspiring is created by the individual who can labor in freedom." So often, immigrants understand freedom even better than Americans do, because they have lived in places where they have not been free. As an immigration lawyer, as an immigrant, I believe that immigration is good for America. It is our national identity, and it is what makes us strong. Immigrants keep our country vibrant in a continual state of change and adaptation. These are difficult times in my field. Our laws are ever-changing, confusing, and often counterproductive, especially since September 11. Unfortunately, immigration and terrorism at times have become synonyms. As part of my work, I often speak for others who cannot speak for themselves, who are too afraid. I am called upon to advocate for people who do not know our laws, who do not know our language, before a government that does not often value what immigrants bring to our country. I believe the work that all of us do to continue our heritage as a country that welcomes immigrants and protects refugees, a country that clings to the principles of freedom and democracy, is more important now than ever. To give you a taste of the kind of work I do, I have stood alongside young and frightened Mexicans, Salvadorians, Guatemalans, who've been arrested by immigration officials at their place of work, and they've been placed in county jails before being brought into strange courtrooms where they have faced their families dressed in faded orange jumpsuits with their hands and their ankles in shackles, terrified, many of them the same age as you sitting before me today. I have accompanied Middle Eastern men who have appeared at immigration offices to comply with special registration laws that were put into effect after 9/11, only to have them arrested by immigration officials, strip-searched, and placed in prisons to await deportation hearings. For me, my work has been a calling, and the first strains of that calling came to me here at Illinois Wesleyan. It was here that I realized that my unique identity was a strength and not a weakness. Eventually, I drew on that realization and performed the work that I do today. Little did I think when I walked the halls of this institution, downplaying my roots, that I would become the voice for other immigrants and would even become a patriot celebrating Americans' identity as a nation of immigrants. Yet with the tools of language and confidence that I received at this institution, I have gone on to make a difference in the lives of immigrants who have embraced the American dream and who have strengthened the rich fabric of this diverse nation. Wesleyan took a chance on my difference, and that made all the difference. My advice to you is, and you'll get plenty of it today, find your calling. In the words of President Minor Myers, follow your bliss. Be true to yourself when you choose your work. Believe in the work you do. Choose that which will inspire you. That may mean you have to rethink ideas about your own past. Since leaving Illinois Wesleyan's campus, I have learned much and been enriched even more. I have been blessed with a life that gives me meaning and purpose. The work I do obviously makes me very proud, but I had no notion of what was to come on that day more than a quarter of a century ago when I walked up to the stage and I received my Wesleyan degree. I suspect the same may be true for many of you. Do not despair. You are not adrift. What you are about to receive here is no mere piece of paper. It is a symbol of your accomplishment. Along the way, you have no doubt faced disappointments, failures, but you have also achieved success. Today, you will walk away from here with more tools and gifts than you yet realize. As you move from the protection of this campus to a world filled with fear and uncertainty, there will be challenges that you must all face. I urge you, be brave. Find the opportunities in the difficulties you encounter. You are already well equipped to face them. You have been taught to work hard, to be generous, to be moral, and to be confident. I encourage you, embrace change and value the differences of those around you. Remain open to new ideas and rise to meet new challenges. If you treat challenges as opportunities, you will find a rich life, one that you will be proud of. I congratulate you. Thank you.